Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. Today I've got the TRN ST5 for you. It is a single beryllium-coated 10mm dynamic driver and 4 balanced armature units. 2 of them are for the mids. They're model 50060, and 2 of them are for the highs, model number 30095. They do not list a manufacturer, so I'm assuming that means custom, which we kind of know can mean anything as far as quality goes, from very good to pretty mediocre. On the unboxing, since we'll kind of do specs and unboxing, sorry to jump right into it, I just don't want to spend a ton of time. Happy Fun Day Sunday, Sunday Fun Day, by the way. It is Sunday, and I'm just, you know, I'm in the mood to be outside, going to the pool with my kiddo and stuff like that. So I'm doing my best to stay focused on this. In the box, there's not a lot. You've got some tips, you've got a cable, you've got the earphones themselves, and that's it. So there is no cable or pouch involved here. You got foam tips, you've got silicone tips. I was disappointed that the TRN T ear tips were not in here, but apparently, thank you to whoever mentioned that, they were not released yet. So the ST5 has been out longer than those ear tips. The ear tips that were included, at least there's a fair amount of them. You've got extremely narrow bore, which I did not use, and then normal bore silicone, and of course a pair of foams. You know, that's fine. I think that, you know, this price point, which is right around 40 or 50, possibly 60 if you don't get them on sale. You know, I wish they'd had a well, something besides this. All right, this is what the cable came in. I suppose in a pinch, you could use that to store them, to store the whole shooting match. I think I did put it in here at one point. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze. Yeah, it does fit though. So if you need to store them, you've got something to store them in. Not exactly what I would call a carry pouch, but yeah, they do fit in there. So, you know, I don't know. The puck would have been nice. I mean, these are right around the same price. I guess they're a little bit less than the Medusa. The Medusa came with the puck and the T-ear tips. Again, you know, not their fault that they didn't have the ear tips out when these came out. But they could have put the puck on. I'll drop that down a little bit in volume. Don't want to get a copyright strike. Instrumental version of Sleep Token, This Place Will Become Your Tomb, playing in the very, very background for y'all. So, alright, unboxing. Yeah, it's pretty simple, straightforward. Nothing too exciting. Not terrible, you know, just basic. Maybe a little bit underwhelming for the price point. Being that, you know, you get more from other places sometimes, but it's okay. It's fine. Let's get the rest of the specs out of the way here. Oh yeah, I did want to mention that it does come with 3 terminations, so the cable is modular cable. It's nice. The cable is tangly. You're not seeing that. Yeah, you are, right there. Literally every time I pick them up, there's something that gets tangled or knotted. So, not a real big fan of that. I am a fan of the soft texture of this, though, and I feel like the quality is reasonable, again, for the price point. But yeah, let's see, what do we have for the rest of the specs here? So we'll try to get this all done in one shoot and match. Here we go. Oh yeah, interesting here. So yes, no pressure buildup problem here. They've got 3 fairly sizable vents. You can see them. There we go. Yeah, they're not huge, but they're there. That graph is completely inaccurate. Okay, here we go. Impedance 22 ohms, sensitivity 120 decibels. They are easy to drive, for sure. Frequency response was 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, and the cable is an 8-core, high-quality silver-plated oxygen-free copper cable. There you go, swappable audio connectors. So yeah, 3.5 single-ended, 2.5 and 4.4 balanced. One of the things that I do like about this set, even though I think that the cable could be a little less tangly for my tastes, build quality on these guys, it's very nice. It's like, what do they call it? Aircraft grade nickel. 5-axis machining. And heavy enough to know that they're substantial, but not heavy enough to be uncomfortable while you're wearing them. There's the T ear tips. That's what I used on them. Kind of a cool design. You know, if you can sort of see it, it's got some concentric circles happening there. Yeah, I mean, and the fit is fine. You know, when I first put them in, I thought I was going to have kind of a similar problem that I do with some sets because of my smaller inner outer ear, whatever you want to call it. But once they're seated, they're comfortable, and you know, the edges could be a little bit smoother, I suppose, but since they're not really making contact, I don't have a problem with it. Really don't. You know, like, I think that I'm a fan. I think that, you know, I'm not going to go off the rails with this set. I'm not going to say, oh my god, you know, it's the next RDT-10, or it's the next, you know, name your favorite value set, right? Because they're not. You know, they have limitations. They have sonic limitations as well. But they're not bad. You know, it's if I bought these just blind on my own, looking for something in the price range and seeing, you know, a single DD 4BA set, I would not be disappointed. I'll just put it that way. I wouldn't be like upset with the purchase. So I think there are probably better sets out there for around the same price. Yeah, I would say so. You know, not the Medusa. And I think that's the big thing, right? So let's talk about how they sound, because they do sound pretty good. I think that I was probably being a little hypercritical on them when I was listening to them, because I was like, okay, no matter what, it's got to be better than the Medusa, right? No matter what. And so here's their graph, which is let me show you my graph, because that'll tell you about how accurate their graph is. Smoothed over a bit, perhaps? Yeah, I think so. Here's the graph. Okay, I posted it in the community a couple of days ago. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. I did listen to these for a full day before I graphed them, just so you're aware. That's the process. Listen first, then graph, then listen again, then maybe check out some other reviewers' takes on something, you know, just to see where I'm at. But I did feel that it was a huge difference from the Medusa, okay? And that bears out in the graph. So after I listened to them and graphed them, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. What you're seeing here, right, is basically a canyon, starting at about 4K and running up to 7. 7 is when it starts to come back up. And because of this here, I wouldn't say it feels like necessarily that there's a hole in the frequency response. It's more like there's just, well, obviously there's really no sibilance to speak of, right? Because that happens around 6K in that area, and obviously that's quite reduced. But it's softer, right? And then it picks up, and I think they did this to try to give it a little air and sparkle. And I get that, you know, like, I think they did an okay job with the treble. I mean, really, like, treble heads are not going to be pleased with this set, but people that don't care so much about a lot of detail and a big sound stage and sparkle much air, you know, like, it's let's just put it this way. This peak here at 8K, this was done on foam, so I think it's pretty real. I did hear it. Kind of livens up the treble just enough to keep them from being like hollow, dull, dampened, whatever you want to call that, when there just isn't enough treble to balance out the set to make it, like alive. It's alive. Okay, there's enough energy there where it's just a relaxed listen. It's just a much more relaxed listen. It's a very relaxed listen as far as the treble goes. Let's talk more about some of the good stuff though, okay? Because the ear gain's reasonable. There's enough energy there, and the lower treble has got, that it's nice. It's well done. The bass is really kind of the star of the show with this set. I feel, even though it peaks out at like 92 versus the treble peak being at 93 decibels on my measurements, the bass is satisfying. It is kind of warm and rounded. It's not defined. It's not detailed. It's not anything that's going to blow you away tech-wise. In fact, none of this really is. It does decent with detail retrieval, but what it is just kind of like a nice background set. Like, I had no problem like doing other stuff while I was listening to them. In fact, I did, household chores, laundry, dishes, didn't vacuum with them. They don't have great sound isolation. It's okay. It's not great. Did not mow with them. I guess my mowing with IM days are probably over, and it's fine. It's better. It's safer that way, honestly. So I'm gonna use my Bowers PX7S2E for that purpose, because they're wireless and they're noise canceling, and I won't have to turn them up as loud to, it's just better for my hearing, right, to do it that way. I'll review those at some point. Those are actually pretty kick-ass for Bluetooth. Anyway, back to the TRN ST5. I felt its strong points were they did well with hip-hop and R&B. They did well with pop, K-pop, rock, hard rock, not metal. My metal rating on these is about a 6.5 to a 7, and it's because they kind of wilted. They kind of started getting really kind of, I don't want to call it distorted, but definitely not. They kind of, you could just tell that they were struggling with heavy distortion, like staying clear, staying clean, and presentation. Like, it's in their presentation, it just was not. I mean, God, they couldn't really handle Tool, and anything later than that, they were okay. Highly Suspect and Royal Blood, and they were okay with those tracks, the rock tracks. But metal is not happening with the ST5. It just wasn't there, But for a set that I think there's a lot of good things to say about it. There's a lot of not good things to say about them. I think they're a middling set for a decent price. How about that? Yeah, I'm not going to give them a recommendation. I'm not going to give them a highly recommended, obviously. I'm going to give them if you own them and enjoy them, good for you. If you're thinking about buying something and you want a single DD and 4BA set for like pretty inexpensive, you could probably do worse. But there's just something that's not really satisfying about them to me. And I think what is happening is that after starting out with the TRN Conch, or Conch, if you want to pronounce it the right way, if starting out with the TRN Conch and then going into the VX Pro, which was several years old when I tested it out, and did have fairly unnatural treble, kind of splashy, whooshy, shooshy, swishy, swashy kind of thing going on, but the rest of it sounded really good. I think that I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I found a diamond in the rough in TRN, and I've been kind of nothing but disappointed since those first two sets. And even looking back at the VX Pro, probably gave that a little bit more credit than it should have gotten. I was impressed by 8 BAs, I guess, but hey, quality, not quantity, right? That's Simon from Plunge Audio is absolutely correct on that. Quality, not quantity. Okay, so I'll give him props for that. I still want to hear one of your sets, dude. So if you're out there, you know, I'm interested. Apparently he has a new one coming out that is going to have a dynamic driver in it and some BAs and stuff. So maybe I'll get a chance to try that. That would be really cool. The Unity is not happening, by the way, just so in case anybody was waiting for that review, it's not going to happen because he's not going to send it to me and I'm not going to spend $600 on it. So anyway, just getting that out of the way. Back to TRN, there's going to have to be, I think at this point they're going to have to reach out for me and send me something that they think, like, putting their best foot forward. Like maybe it's the Azure Dragon, maybe it's something else. But I'm not going to buy another TRN set to review. Like, I'm done. Like, I've made my effort. I've tried 4 sets. I've reviewed 4 sets. They're just okay. The Conch is probably still the best of the 4, and it's the least expensive of the 4. So go figure that. I mean, that's got to come into play, right? Price does. So that's really it. That's it. You know, they were okay. They weren't great. They weren't terrible. Middling set, decent price point. That about wraps it up for me. But I did want to get this out. I did want to get it done, and you know, there's some more exciting stuff coming up, right? The K5 from EPZ is going to be. I just have a feeling it's going to be a banger, and it's going to be next because I want to go directly from a single DD 4BA into another single DD 4BA set, and I will be comping it with the Truth Ear Nova for starters, right? So I guess this is our jumping off point into the next review, and I plan on getting that one out Tuesday or Wednesday. So for now, that's it. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Be careful, be safe, be nice. I love y'all. Nothing but peace to you. We'll see you soon.